Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Stupendous Wave, and I'm here with Haza today, and we'll be talking about all the information that we get from the Lego Jurassic World website, and it's all really cool. I did a video on just specifically on the Raptors for this, but this video will kind of just be covering everything, and we do get a lot of new information, and there's some minor spoilers here. None of it is like plot breaking levels, but there is some minor stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start off with the Indominus Rex. So Haza, there's a lot of new information revealed about the Indominus Rex in this little read-up that we get here. What do you think about it?
Yes, it does reveal its length and its height being at 43 feet long and 18 feet tall, which is awesome. This kind of is like a second source, of course, to the Jurassic World website as well, which also gives a length of currently 12 meters or so. So yeah, it's good to see that we get to see its height shown here. And from what I can read, it says that it's going to be, obviously it's going to have destructive capabilities, and it says beneath its pale, spiky hide. So as we know from the Indominus, this figure, it's white, so this also helps to cement that it can change color, possibly to a white, palish color from the blue and brownish green we've seen in the trailers.
Yeah, this is definitely the what I would assume to be just the regular form of the Indominus Rex, if you want to call it that, the regular shade. Because if you look in the trailers, we've never seen it just change color right out. And I really hope that we get to see that in the actual film. I hope that we actually get to see her camouflage herself instead of just see her in different shades. But yeah, definitely here the highlight is her size, being 2 feet taller than the T-Rex, because we've seen that she's clearly taller than the T-Rex in various promo images and the trailer, but now we kind of get concrete that she is 2 feet taller. And 2 feet, it's really not a lot, but it's still evident that they did succeed when they set out to create a theropod that was indeed bigger than T-Rex. So now that we've talked about the Indominus Rex, let's go ahead and talk about the T-Rex herself. Just a real quick read-up. It says, a carnivorous dinosaur from the late Cretaceous period of North America about 65 million years ago, the gigantic Tyrannosaurus Rex has well earned its reputation as the tyrant lizard king. Its two-fingered hands and arms may look almost comically small, but its massive jaws and strong serrated teeth make it a true prehistoric force to be reckoned with. So really nothing new here at all. Haza, what are your thoughts on the information on the T-Rex?
Yeah, nothing really groundbreaking to say, just explaining that it's the king of Jurassic Park, pretty much. But looking at the figure, just looking at the figure again, it doesn't appear to have the scratch marks.
Yeah, this figure is actually, it's been reused. This has actually been released before. They just recycled the figure. It was made in the dinosaur line. So, yeah, would have been nice to see some scratches on it.
Hmm. Yeah, and they also say strong serrated teeth. And although we know T-Rex does have strong teeth, they weren't serrated at all. So they got that wrong, because T-Rex has blunt teeth, actually.
That's really interesting. Okay, so next we got the Dilo. So, what do you think about the Dilo read-up? Possibly could be the most interesting one.
It doesn't really give too much away again, but it does say that Jurassic World visitors beware. If a Dilophosaurus extends its frill, then it may be about to spit gooey venom at you. And although this doesn't mean that necessarily it's going to be in the movie, there's a lot of speculation that it's going to be in the movie, and it would make sense that, because it's in the Lego line, that it's definitely had some place in the movie.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it says Jurassic World visitors. It's not like Jurassic Park visitors or or just beware. It specifically states Jurassic World visitors beware. So this is a hint. I mean, even if we don't see it in the movie, and we might, we can still keep it in our hearts that the Dilo may be out there just based on this read-up, which is pretty cool, I think. Either way, I don't see why the Dilophosaurus wouldn't be on the island anymore. It definitely might not be in the movie, or it could very well be in the movie, but I would definitely say that it's on the island. What do you think? Do you think it's still on the island, even if we don't see it in the movie?
Yeah, they're definitely still there. And I just want to bring up quickly a point that kind of cements this idea that there will be wild dinosaurs still in the park that haven't been captured. Because if some people have played the Lego game, not the Lego game, sorry, the app game, the Jurassic World app game, which kind of gives some information as to what the story or the background of Jurassic World is before the movie comes out. It actually gives out quite a lot of spoilers, this game, including we know that there's the old visitor center, but also during the game, if you get up to a certain point, we get a line from Hoskins saying he's talking about the carnivores. He's saying they're just looking for a chance to break free and join the wild carnivores we haven't caught and caged yet. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, and also, I mean, at the beginning of the game, they're bringing the Majungasaurus in, but possibly even from the restricted area. But that's really interesting too. I mean, I wouldn't take the game as like canon, but it's still interesting. Like, we know that they don't have a Majungasaurus, or they have a lot of dinosaurs in the game that they don't have on the movie, but
No, but I think the main story element is kind of the same.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just a nice little thing that they added in there, and it's pretty cool. Because that kind of says, hey, they are trying to round up the restricted area dinosaurs to some extent. Maybe they stopped because, I mean, the park's been open for a while. But we know the T-Rex came from the restricted area, or the island. So we do know that they have gone there in the past to search for them. So maybe they're in the process of catching a Dilo. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and find out. It would be really cool. So next we have the Pteranodon, which is a pterosaur, and there's not really anything new here. It just says it's a cousin to true dinosaurs, with arms that have evolved into wings, with leathery flight membranes. So it just kind of explains what it is. It also says that Pteranodon's long, sharp beak is toothless. So I just want to say that the toy kind of messed up a little bit, because as a lot of you know, the Pteranodon toy does have teeth. But it's just nice to see here that although they may have messed up a little bit with the T-Rex and its serrated teeth, they do know that the Pteranodon doesn't have teeth, at least. So what are your thoughts on the Pteranodon and this little read-up? It's not really new information.
Yeah, there's not much here to say apart from, yeah, pretty much. It doesn't give really anything groundbreaking about the film, just more so explaining the animal, and yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. So now we're moving into the raptors and basically the meat. And I have a video about this if you guys want to check it out. This is more of a discussion-like video than an information one. But if you want to hear me read the full bios, you can check out that video. It's in the description. Or you can just go to the website yourself and read it. But Haza and I are just going to talk about the fact that they're mixing different types of animals in with these things. Like it says blue, I believe, I'm not exactly sure, just reading this. What is blue mixed with? Black-throated African monitor lizard. So that's really cool, because that's something that hasn't been mixed with dinosaurs before. What do you think of blue overall, kind of her pack dynamic, and what the fact that she's mixed with something else, Haza? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting because they're still going along the lines of using reptile DNA to fill in the gaps, along with the Jurassic World website, which says they use birds and crocodile DNA, I think. But here they used black-throated African water lizard, as you said, and also says that she is the largest and smartest raptor of the pack, I believe. Yeah, and what else? No creature in Jurassic World demonstrates this better than Blue. Keen senses, large brain. It also says on the website, in the Velociraptor section, that the Velociraptors are the smartest dinosaurs in the park.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe because based on the trailers, I mean, we haven't seen the movie, but I would venture a guess that the I-Rex is smarter. But I mean, it's not in the park, so it would make sense. But really, neither are the raptors. So that's really interesting. Might have to wait and see. Where do you think their intelligence is? Do you think the Velociraptors is still the smartest, or do you think the Indominus Rex might be smarter?
It all depends really on if the Indominus has that Velociraptor, T-Rex, cuttlefish, snake DNA still in her genome. Because if she had the T-Rex and the T-Rex and Velociraptor, that'd give her a bigger brain size, I guess. Because I guess the collaboration of like all the dinosaurs together, along with the Velociraptors, we know has got a large brain that would certainly add to her intelligence, along
Yeah.
with the possible human DNA.
Yeah, that's just the possibility. But on the website, it's really interesting because we've been getting a lot of conflicting sources. It says that she's mixed with some abeliosaurs and other ones uh, and other larger theropods, and there's no mention of T-Rex or Velociraptor DNA being mixed with it. So it's really interesting. If I had to guess, I'd say that she's mixed with a lot of abeliosaurs and not have T-Rex or Velociraptor DNA because, I mean, to me, I look at her and I don't really see a T-Rex or a Velociraptor, you know?
I just want to note that it only says on the website that her horns and her like osteoderms are made from those dinosaurs. So maybe she does have something else in her.
That's interesting. We're gonna find out eventually, but it's just a whole debate that's been going on. Like, what exactly is she mixed with? And I really can't wait to find out. That's a little off topic. We were talking about the Raptors.
Yeah.
So next we got Charlie here, and basically Charlie says that she's the youngest and the kind of fidgety, and she will. Sounds like she'll attack the most. She's the easiest to provoke, and that people will. It seems like that she'll go after people. We even see in the Super Bowl trailer, she kind of like growls a little bit at or hisses at Owen. So she's definitely jumpy, but she will also follow Blue. So kind of, if Owen can contain Blue, he kind of has Charlie in the bag too, which is really cool. But it also says that Owen never takes his eyes off her, which makes sense. So what do you think of Charlie?
Yeah, that's a very good point about Blue and Charlie. Sort of like it says here that Charlie looks to Blue for guidance and commands during hunts, and then will immediately give up a meal to her pack leader, Blue. So yeah, it kind of cements the idea that although she's unpredictable, it says here that she's the hardest to predict, she looks to Blue for guidance and will maybe like keep extra care for Blue, even though she's the youngest, but and she's the least experienced. So she still has a lot to learn, but she's still looking out for her leader.
Yeah, that's really cool too. And also it says they specifically programmed her with the dramatic striping of a large green iguana, which is really cool. So they bred them kind of be more flashy, which is kind of cool. I mean, you walk into there and you see this green flashy dino, and that's pretty cool. What do you think about them specifically genetically engineering them to be a little bit more flashy? Do you like that? Do you not like it?
It's good. I think it goes to show that like they can have some variety with the Raptors and also distinguish which one's which as well, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sense because I mean in the first one they kind of look the same, except for, of course, their size differed. But now they're just kind of changing it up a bit. I like it. So next we have Delta. So you want to go ahead and share your thoughts on Delta, the information that the Lego site reveals, what you think about her.
Yeah, very interesting. Saying that she's the second eldest, because Blue's obviously the oldest. And along with her unique gecko-like pupils, she has been infused with more avian, which is bird DNA, than her sister raptors have, resulting in her bird-like movements and behaviors. And you can see, it says here, being watched by Delta is a lot like being stared at by an eagle about to launch an attack. And, that's interesting because although we know it says that Charlie's very unpredictable, Delta, you think anyway that Delta might be one of the most deadly raptors out of before.
Yeah, I definitely think so. She's if you look at the image that was released, you can see the size difference between Blue and Delta and Charlie and Echo, and I'm sure you've seen it. You can clearly see Delta is quite comparable to Blue, and it seems like Delta is closing in on Owen a little bit in the Super Bowl trailer scene and in the trailer 2 scene. Delta, I just get that feeling that she's aggressive. What do you get from Delta? Do you just feel like she's a little bit aggressive too? I mean, they're all aggressive, but others more than.
Yeah. I would think I would think most, yeah, as you said, all of them would be aggressive, but as she's got more bird DNA than all her other sister raptors, that's, there could be some, variation in her movements and like what her characteristics are.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, and Delta is awesome, and again the whole size difference thing. I mean, it seems it's very clear that Blue and Delta are on the whole they're a lot larger than Charlie and Echo. You can even see in the Super Bowl trailer that Blue and Echo a real quick run in on Owen first. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh,
Yeah,
this makes sense because they're the oldest.
yeah,
Because Blue and Delta are the oldest, they would have to be the biggest, and that's probably the reason why they have the cameras because they're the most experienced.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Also, it says that Echo has challenged Blue in the past, but that's just kind of getting into it a little bit early because we haven't reached Echo yet. But Delta, I know I'm referencing the trailer a lot, but she snaps at Owen. I'm sure you've seen it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She gives him that's like a warning to me from that animal. That's like it's like I'm not gonna hurt you right now because we've all had dogs and stuff snap at us before, and they don't just come right at you. I'm sure a lot of us have had that experience, and I'm not saying they're like dogs, but they're kind of
Pack
they're all
animals.
animals, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting. I take that as a warning, and I also take that at that Blue does not um, snap at Owen. Blue just kind of runs up on him and kind of just opens her mouth, but Delta snaps at him, and I kind of take that as Delta almost. And she also opens his mouth at him, and she's also the raptor that gets closest to him in the trailer. That's kind of why I get that feeling that Delta is just maybe on the verge of trying to upset the pack. What do you think? Do you think she has the potential to challenge Owen even?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we know that because Owen's not the only raptor trainer. I mean, you have Barry, so maybe because like we see Blue is more like Owen's raptor, so maybe Delta's like she favors Barry more than Owen.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like a little bit more testy with Owen. That makes sense. So now that we've talked about Delta, let's move on to the final raptor, which is Echo, my personal favorite raptor. So Echo, unfortunately, has the shortest read up out of all of them. We get the least information. We just get that she challenged Blue for leadership of the pack when they were both young, and got a scar on her face, which is why some of the Jurassic World handlers call her Elvis because of the scar. Um, yeah, we don't get to see what she's mixed with, although we can clearly see that she shares the most resemblance to the original Jurassic Park raptors, which means we can kind of assume that she's mixed with whatever they were mixed with. What do you think about it?
Yeah, as you said, she bears the closest resemblance to the original raptors. So maybe she was made in the same like what do you call it? Like the same makeup kind of as the
The
original
same
raptors. The same.
fashion.
Pardon?
The same fashion.
Yeah, kind of like that. The same. No, screw it. I've forgotten the word. But yeah, and also I really want to know why we only really see three raptors in the trailer and not Echo.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Like,
She's missing for a reason, maybe,
like we
or
get
she's
it.
the first one to go rogue.
Hmm. I don't think that she's the first one to go rogue necessarily. I think maybe they're in
Or
the
the first one to
process.
die.
I would assume that in the trailer, that's very early on. That's just kind of the feeling that I get. I mean, I don't think that Echo dies right away. Maybe they were putting them away, because we know that apparently this is linked with feeding time, and I
Mm.
assume after feeding time that they're like put away. Um, so maybe Echo has been put away, and they're kind of in the process of putting the others away, and this kind
Yeah.
of happens. Or maybe even with the pig, after the guy falls into the paddock, Echo decides to go after the pig and not the other ones. I'm sure she's there. Um, she might even just be off camera a little bit. I mean, we literally get 3 shots of it. I mean,
Or maybe she's with Barry.
yeah. I mean, it completely makes sense. Um, we also see Owen look to his he's not looking at Charlie when he looks to the right. I don't know if you've noticed that. Maybe Echo is right off screen. He's looking a little too far right to be looking at Charlie, I think. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Mm.
So, I don't know. Maybe if I were to bet, I would say Echo's just off screen. Um, but that's just my guess. Well, what do you think?
Oh yeah, there's so many possibilities on what or where Echo could be. But yeah, it's just unsure at this moment.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of touched on the dinosaurs, we're just going to touch on two of the people the most interesting. We're going to talk about Masrani and Vic Hoskins. And you can check out the others on the Jurassic World website. They're all there. Link in the description down below. Or the Lego Jurassic World website, excuse me. So let's go ahead and talk about Masrani. Uh, he just kind of has a short read up, and it says, flashy and famous billionaire Simon Masrani is the financial backer and public showman for Jurassic World. He ignores security warnings in favor of dazzling his park guests by engineering a brand new dinosaur species designed to impress and awe, but not necessarily to stay contained. Of course, this is referring to the Indominus Rex, and by this, Masrani seems like another Hammond. Exactly like another Hammond, only a younger, maybe even a bit more flashy. What do you think?
Yeah, he sounds pretty much exactly like what the book John Hammond would be like.
Yeah,
Because the book John Hammond's different than the movie John Hammond. Because the book John Hammond, he's
not a good
more
person.
he's more concerned about profit than like animal welfare. So, and it says here like he ignores security warnings in favor of dazzling his park. So he's more concerned on the money rather than the assets. So, and because Hammond dies in the book, spoiler.
That book's been out forever.
Yeah, well, some people haven't read the book, so maybe that's a telltale sign that maybe because they're taking so many, as we know, they're taking so many like scenes and kind of changing them in a way to fit into the Jurassic World. So maybe Masrani will die in a similar way to what John Hammond died in the book.
Yeah, I really don't think he's gonna. If for those of you that don't know, if you don't want to know how Hammond dies in the book, just go ahead and skip for like 30 seconds ahead. but he's eaten by compies. Um, I don't think that there's gonna be compies in here, but I mean, maybe he could be attacked by velociraptors or something else. I don't know. It would be interesting because I assume there's no compies on the island. Do you think there could be?
Nah,
Yeah.
there's no compies on Nublar, no.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he could kind of fall down the hill, similar to what happened in the books, and then get eaten by something else. But
Mm.
yeah, just really interesting. Um, but I don't know about you. You kind of said that he gets like the Hammond feel. I don't get that from him necessarily. I don't. I feel like he's more like the movie Hammond than the book Hammond. I mean, we've seen him very sparingly, but he doesn't seem like a jerk to me. Or
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't look like a jerk, but I get that feeling that he's kind of two-faced.
yeah, I mean that could
That
work. I mean,
he appears to be like all, oh, I care about everything. But then, like, even if you see in the oh, that's a great example. You know, the Indominus Rex breakout
yeah,
clip.
yeah. He tells him to shut the door.
He tells him to shut the door as if he doesn't even care about Owen. So
Hmm.
he's like aggressive, and he's like, close the door. So like,
Yeah, but at the
there's
same
some
time,
part of
it's
him that's
like,
different.
is he right there or is he wrong there? Because that's really a decision that he had to make right then. I mean, it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things because uh, Owen escapes and the Indominus Rex gets out too. But I like the word you used. He's aggressive.
Mm.
So last and certainly not least, probably out of everything, the biggest reveal on this whole website is Vic Hoskins. And you want to go ahead and kind of explain what is revealed here about Vic Hoskins and why it is so important.
Yes. Now this is probably, yeah, very important because it kind of gives us more info into what his character is, because we didn't really understand really what his character was meant to be in the film, apart from being the security head of ACU and InGen. But it says here that he is actually also a greedy skunkworks agent from InGen, sees the animals of Jurassic World not as beautiful creatures, but potential for profit, and will stop at nothing to steal Owen's research for himself. So, very, very interesting, because we basically get the idea that he has a similar role that Nedry did in Jurassic Park, where he's like stealing stuff and just taking it all for himself, being selfish and greedy. And yeah, very, very interesting.
Yeah, there's always been reports that he is the villain of the film, but I mean, what we've seen of him so far, um, in the trailer, like he doesn't come off like a villain to me. He comes off as a jerk for sure, but not as a villain. But this is kind of like this is his motivation. He's another Dennis Nedry, only he's a lot more. Uh, I'm gonna use the word again. Aggressive is what it seems like.
Yeah, definitely.
I would even say that he's more dangerous than Nedry because he might not be as smart and he's more aggressive.
Yeah, and he's like a big guy.
Yeah, for sure.
If they got into a fight, like if they ever got into a fight, he would pull off like a decent fight, because he's a strong guy. And if he's out to take Owen's research, that's really interesting, because we had a discussion about this before the actual video here, but we were talking about what he actually meant by stealing Owen's research for himself. Because if he's the head of security at InGen, what would be the point? Because there's nothing really that he's going to gain from it, apart from possibly, because we know he's got a military background, he might be using to taking some of the dinosaur DNA raptor research to build his own raptor army to be used in like military capabilities or something.
Yeah, like a bad Raptor squad. That'd be cool. And
Yeah.
I definitely think that that's it's not going to happen in this movie
No.
if it happens. But, I mean, it's a cool idea down the line, for sure, if Vic Hoskins doesn't die. And knowing this, knowing that his plans very well could be, this is not like confirmed or anything, it's just a theory, to make a different, more aggressive and ruthless Raptor squad. I love that idea. What about you?
Yeah, because maybe do you reckon that Wu's bad? I maintain the opinion that Wu's going to be bad in this movie, and
I
he's
don't
possibly working for Hoskins.
I don't think that he's bad. I just think that he's a it's interesting because if you read on the Masrani website, his opinion changes quite drastically too. He's completely against genetic engineering to start with, and then he engineers a flower, and now we have the Indominus Rex. So maybe that's a payout. Who knows?
Yeah,
But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. This really, um, it's been a great discussion because we've gone in depth rather than just like, oh, look at the dinosaurs. We're talking about like the people and the park dynamic and pack dynamics. So it's really, really cool. So do you have any final thing to add, Haza?
uh, based on all the Lego information we've got, we can kind of add more pieces to this Jurassic World puzzle, I guess, and it's getting more and more complete as the days go on up until its release. So it's getting ever more closer. Only like less than a month away, isn't it? No,
Uh,
yeah, it's around a month away. So,
yeah, very,
geez,
very excited. It's going to be awesome. So
yeah,
thank you for joining me today, Haza. You're awesome to do these discussions with. You really know your stuff. He does have a YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already subscribed to him, but if you're not, link in the description down below. Subscribe to Haza. He has a 50-minute breakdown of the trailer. Awesome. You guys should check that out. And a whole lot of other stuff. So anyway, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and have a great day.